Hello, welcome to GS4 Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude, Unit 2, Chapter 2, Attitude. Attitude is a tendency to respond positively or negatively towards a particular idea, some object, or some person. Eagly and Chaikin have defined an attitude as a psychological tendency that is expressed by evaluating an entity with some degree of favor or disfavor. It is in this way that Eagly and Chaikin has defined attitude. The content of an attitude refers to the direction of the attitude. For example, in the attitudes of subordinates towards their officers, the content refers to the likes or dislikes towards their officers. This is known as content of attitude. The intensity of an attitude refers to the strength and conviction with which those subordinates have an attitude towards the officers. Say they have a strong likes and dislikes towards them. This is known as the intensity of attitudes. An attitude has cognitive, affective, and cognitive components. The cognitive component of an attitude works to know the nature and a strength of attitude. The other affective component of attitude refers to feelings and emotions which are linked with an attitude towards some object. The cognitive component of attitude refers to past attitude functions to provide knowledge of certain object or of certain person towards whom we develop certain attitude. Now, attitude support self-esteem because attitudes can serve as defense mechanism. Now, moral values. Moral values are the highest among all natural values. So, goodness, purity, truthfulness, and humility of man rank higher than genius, brilliancy, and exuberant vitality. Now, values are always personal, not objective, because they are subjective in their status. They are only inherent in man and they are realized by man. So they are personal in nature, subjective in nature. Now, there are different kinds of attitudes. One of them is reference. Reference is the attitude that can be designed as the mother of moral life. It is a reference that makes a man capable of any abandonment of or subordination of self, abandonment towards the objective values. That is, towards values which everybody accept and appreciate. Now, an irreverent man limits his interest for only that which is agreeable to him, whether it offers him satisfaction, whether be of any use to him. This is how the irreverent man behaves. Without reverence, no true love, no justice, no kindness, no self-development, no purity, and no truthfulness. See how important is this reverence as an attitude. Now, second is faithfulness. Faithfulness refers to the fidelity. For what is love without commitment? It is nothing but a lie. Now, what is the awareness of responsibility? The next attitude. The responsible man must be wholly inspired by the world of values and their demands. A man who is not aware of his responsibility is heedless and thoughtless. Now, the most radical type in this category is represented by the man who does not concern himself with the world of values, but only with what is subjectively satisfying to him. The responsible man knows he is not ruled only by an impersonal world of values, but by a personal judge. Now, see, come truthfulness, which is another attitude. Now, the truthful man is the man who in his every attitude and action is genuine. He is the man who possesses an essential attitude to the actual abandonment of values and holds himself free from personal pride. One untruthful man is an artful liar who says nothing wrong in affirming the contrary of what is true, when it is agreeable or satisfying to him. One who does not recognize the truth is a man who immediately twists the meaning of a situation which he finds that it is disagreeable for him. Now, untruthful restricts the rights of others to know the truth. This is the right of every human being to know the truth. But this untruthful man, liar, restricts the right, such kind of right of a man. He ignores the value which inheres in every man as a spiritual person, and showed a disregard for the dignity of man, of the elementary right which every person possesses to know the truth. It is the right of every man to know the truth. But a liar prevents him to know the truth by speaking the lie. Now, next is goodness. Goodness is the center of all morality. Now, high moral values are accepted as a presupposition of moral life. But goodness is the result, is the fruit of moral life. This is the difference between goodness and other moral values. There is a difference between a good man and good-natured man. See, it's very important. Now, a good man, a good-natured man is harmless. He lets himself be badly treated without noticing it. He is ready to be even badly treated by someone without taking note of it. Such person is called good-natured man. On the other hand, a good man flows from a conscious response of love. He does not allow himself to be made use of or to be treated by anyone badly. Now, this is the meaning of a good man. The antithesis of a good man is bad man, who never thinks of others. He always thinks about how to serve his interest, even by using fraudulent means. Now, a hard-hearted man is not ready to listen to grievances against him, while a wicked man deliberately harms others and does not give importance to moral values. Now see how these distinctions are there. Hard-hearted man, wicked man. Now in goodness, there shines a light that bestows the good person a unique intellectual dignity. The truly good man is never stupid and narrow. Now come and see the nature of political attitudes. Now, political attitudes are the attitudes of people in the area of public life covered by political nationalism, political conservatism, political liberalism, political radicalism, and so on. Now, a political ideology is a certain ethical set of ideals principles, doctrines, myths, or symbols of a social movement, institution, class, or large group that explains how society should work. This is the political ideology. The first dimension of ideology is how society should work or be arranged. How society should work. This is the first dimension of a political ideology. Now, the other dimension of a political ideology is to achieve the ideal arrangement. Now, political ideologies are concerned with many different aspects of society. And some of them are the economy, education, healthcare, labor law, criminal law, and the justice system. How does compliance work to change the attitude? Now see, the issue is how to change the attitude. The term compliance stands for a change behavior based on consequences, such as someone's hope to gain rewards or avoid punishments from another group of persons. Next is identification also plays important role in changing one's attitude. Now, identification refers to one's change of beliefs. One's change of beliefs. In this case, the individual adopts the new attitude because it is associated with the desired relationship. Just for example, if your parents have certain good attitude towards some political party, then you also start having the same kind of attitude towards that party. This normally happens. Now, according to Stevenson, C.L. Stevenson, the attitude cannot be changed on the basis of some rational arguments. Rational arguments do not work in changing anyone's attitude. What works, according to Stevenson, is non-rational method. What is that method? The method of persuasion. By persuading someone, you can change his attitude towards some person or towards some object. This is what Stevenson holds. Now, radicalism, which is one important political attitude. Radicalism favors an immediate and fundamental change of the existing society. All radicals favor revolutionary change. In one stroke, the present social system should be changed. A radical may be defined as a person who is highly dissatisfied with society as it is, and is therefore impatient with less than extreme proposals for changing the existing society. Mahatma Gandhi was also a radical because he was dissatisfied with the British rule and he was not ready to accept less than the total ouster of that British rule from India. So he is called radical in that sense. But there are two kinds of radicalism or radicals. One is extreme, other is liberal. Liberal radicals do not apply violence. So Mahatma Gandhi was a radical, but he was a liberal radical because he didn't apply violence to achieve the goal. Similar is the case with Martin Luther King Jr. He also protested American government on certain issues like Montgomery bus boycott, sit-in movement, and so on. But he never applied violence. So he also comes under the category of liberal radicals. But the French Revolution, that is the best example of extreme radicals, because in French Revolution, as you all know, the violence was adopted. Many people were killed. So this is the difference between liberal radical and extreme radical. Now, the word progressive is used for liberals, the other attitude of liberalism. The word progressive is used for liberals because liberals are quick to recognize deficiencies in society and therefore are anxious to reform the system, favoring rapid and tentative, far-reaching progressive changes. Relatively far-reaching progressive changes. This what the liberals do. So liberals have a certain fixed and basic attitude. Now radicals are opposed to the political system that governs them. So they are apt to oppose the law. Liberals, on the other hand, generally appreciate the existing law. Liberals try to change the law through legal procedure, not by revolution. Liberals reject attempts to revolutionize the system. Now, contemporary liberals are concerned with the idea that economic power can be as oppressive as political power. contemporary liberals believe government can be used by the economically weak to protect themselves against the oppression of the powerful. Now, next comes the attitude of nationalism. What is this nationalism? That term nationalism centrally refers to the attitude that the members of a nation have their identity as members of that nation or that country. A nation often consists of an ethnic or cultural community, and a state is a political entity with a high degree of sovereignty. So now there is a difference between a nation and a state. A nation, as you have seen, that consists of ethnic and cultural community, while a state refers to the sovereign power and sovereignty. While many of the states are nations in some sense, but many nations are not fully sovereign states. See the difference. A state is a nation, but every nation must not be treated as a state. Why? Because there are examples of some nations which have that ethnic and cultural community, but they don't have sovereignty. They don't have sovereign power. And this will find the example in the Native American Iroquois, which constitute a nation, but that is not a state, since they do not possess the requisite political authority over their internal or external affairs. No sovereign power is there. Now, there are the cases of, say, after this nationalism, we find the attitude of patriotism. Now, what is this patriotism? Patriotism tends to encourage militarism, now listen, and makes for international tension and conflict, because a patriotic has that affinity and respect for one's country, that he is not going to tolerate even slight act by any other country which can damage the prestige of one's country. That's why it is said that patriotic encourage militarism. Now, a patriotic sacrifices even one's own life for the safety and for the prestige of his country. Now, Machiavelli writes, when the safety of one's country wholly depends on the decision to be taken, no attention should be paid either to justice or injustice, to kindness or cruelty, or to its being praiseworthy or ignominious. This is how Machiavelli presents this. Now, next comes robust patriotism. Another kind of patriotism, robust patriotism. What is this? Robust patriotism is a form of patriotism in which a patriotic gives importance to universal values. Universal values which everybody will accept. A patriot of ethical type would want to see justice done, rights respected, and human solidarity at work at any time and place. This is how a patriot will like to have. Now, next comes the attitude of moderate. Say, what sort of attitude is that of being moderate? Moderates are, or a moderate attitude is that in which one is liberal or conservative as per the situation, that he is not committed to any of them. That means he is neither a liberal nor a conservative. Rather, he becomes liberal or conservative when such situations permit to him. So, the moderates are fundamentally satisfied with society. They are not like radicals. Although they agree that there is room for improvement. However, they insist that changes in the system should be made gradually and that no change should be so extreme as to disrupt the society. This they don't want. Now, conservatives are the most supportive of the status quo and therefore are reluctant to see it changed. Conservatives are often accused of lacking vision, but the charge is not fair. Because being content with things does not suggest that conservatives are necessarily happy with the existing system or existing situation. It's not the case that they are always happy with the present system. Then, why at all they are sticking to status quo? Conservatives may desire a future no less pleasant than that of the liberals, a future free of human conflict and suffering. They also want, conservatives also desire and want such society which is free from conflict and sufferings. Conservatives support the status quo not because they like it, but because they believe that this can be the only thing which can be achieved now. See the tendency of a conservative, that he thinks whatever he has achieved, that is there. So he does not like to make changes with the fear that whatever he has got today, that may be lost if changes take place in society. The primary reason for their fear is that they do not believe that human reason can take very right decision. They don't have faith in human reason, conservatives. And they think that reason is not that powerful to understand things completely, to solve social problems. This conservatives do not believe in. This is the reason why they want to stick to a status quo. Liberals, on the other hand, believe that human reason is powerful and can successfully solve social problems and can overcome impulses to harm. So, liberals have full faith and belief in their status of reason. Now, conservatives have less faith than liberals that people can use reason to restrain their animalistic instincts. Conservatives tend to favor government control. See, conservatives tend to favor government control over the individuals in society. We all sometimes favor this, that let government have its catch on the individuals of the society. This explains why conservatives are society's law and order advocates. They always think that everything should be as per the law. They believe that unless police forces are significant, laws harsh, and prisoners uncomfortable, people will not be deterred from crime. This is what they think and believe. That's why they want that the present system should continue. Now, private property is an inalienable right of the individual. Conservatives believe that property right dominates virtually every other right. Consequently, the government has no legitimate power to interfere with individuals' accumulation or use of private property. This is what conservatives believe in. Another attitude is reactionary. This is another political attitude. The reactionary proposes retrogressive change. Reactionaries favor a policy that would return society to a previous condition or even a former value system. See how this attitude of reactionary is to come back again to the previous system. So these are some very important issues regarding attitudes, regarding political attitudes that we find in this Unit 2 entitled attitude. Now, with this, I am going to close my presentation. Thanks.